All right. I think we're good here. Go ahead and minimize my face for today. And welcome. Welcome back to another one of whatever these things are. Yeah. So, how are you? How is today going? It's kind of a lot to do today for me, but it was kind of the last day that my coworker I've mentioned a couple times here is going to be in for the rest of the year because he's having a baby. So just kind of getting a bunch of information together, making sure everybody's aware of the stuff that he does, and that we can kind of take care of ourselves and the things that he sort of takes care of behind the scenes at work. I think we'll probably do okay. Hopefully a lot of the things that he does we won't even have to worry about or think about. Just good to know just in case kind of scenarios. But that was kind of a lot of today, actually. A lot of it. But I don't have to go in for the rest of next week. Or all of next week. Not the rest of next... I guess that's true. The rest of next week was technically correct, just not a really good sentence. Probably have to stop in and make sure things are doing okay while for a little bit while my coworker's out, but don't have to be there for 8 hours, like 10 hours sometimes. I get to just sort of chill, go in there and check things when I want and leave. Don't worry about a thing. Pretty great. I have to go back like November 30th, so only for 2 weeks, and then I'm out for 2 more. Out for the rest of the year, honestly. So not a lot going on for the rest of the year. Pretty stoked about it. Like I said before, take a vacation. Feels good. Wish I would have taken more of it throughout the year. It was a busy year, but kind of let me pad out a lot of the end of the year here, which feels equally nice when you have a really long stretch that you don't have to do anything for. Even though I can't really go anywhere right now, it's still kind of nice just to be able to chill out. Do what you want. Maybe I'll do like a side project or something. Maybe. We'll see how that goes. Anyway. So, just chatting for today. I kind of liked last week when we just sort of grabbed something off the shelf back there. And there are quite a few things on the shelf to grab back there, so maybe I'll do that again until I'm kind of bored of it for Fridays. We'll see. Who to grab today? Let's try this one. This one should be a fun little conversation. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it won't be that fun. Maybe it'll be kind of short. All right. For those who don't know, can't tell, this here's Little Mac. He was introduced into the Smash Brothers series for the same game that this amiibo came out for, which was the Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS. And he's kind of a neat character. He's, like I say, he's from the Punch-Out games. The first Punch-Out game that I played was the first Punch-Out. Was it the first Punch-Out? Yeah, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And that one's got a funny little backstory. After some of the stuff that was going on with Mike Tyson at the time of making the game, or slightly after making the game, they decided to switch out. Not even switch out, but just remove his likeness from the game, but not really change the final boss of the game. They swapped him out for a character called Mr. Dream instead, which is really just a gold reskinning of Mike Tyson's sprite within the game. So still all the same moves and stuff. I don't think anything really changed about it, but it was kind of a funny little tale. I always wondered how I had that Mike Tyson's Punch-Out game growing up, but when I when I got older and had other people talking about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Dream," and I'm like, "Who's Mr. Dream? I don't know who that is. I can't remember who that was. I must have missed that in the game, but it is actually just a different edition of the game that happened or came out a little bit after the original was released. I guess I shouldn't say it's the original. I believe there was a Punch-Out before the NES one, so I guess it was technically the second Punch-Out game that came out that I sort of grew up with. and I played it quite a bit growing up. There's a lot of really good characters in the game, which is really weird to say because they had like no personality. Their personality was basically while you were in the ring with them, they had a little flourish that they would do basically at the beginning of a match. So when you would start, they'd play a little theme song for the for that character, for that boxer. And when they'd be introduced, they do like a little dance or they do some sort of animation. And that was basically the summation of their character. The rest of it was just sort of how they react to getting hit, how they get up, facial reactions to things. And they packed a lot into those sprites. It was always so surprising. I shouldn't say it's always so surprising. When I was younger, I didn't really know why I particularly liked that game. But after I got older and just sort of got a better appreciation for game design and character design, it was just like, whoa, they did such a good job with that. When they came out with the was it the Wii version, it wasn't really a remake. They came out with most of the same characters. They renamed one of them, I think. Piston Honda was the character in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, or Punch-Out featuring Mr. Dream, whichever one you played. And they changed his name to Piston Hondo in the Wii version. But that Wii version also did a really good job of just recalling those character details, that character design that I remembered in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and bringing that into a 3D space. It was honestly phenomenal. I think it was Dan Floyd from Extra Credits Fame, but also also doing New Frame Plus, and just combining those two words together there. Did an episode of his channel, or what eventually became his channel, on the animations from the Wii's Punch-Out, and it does a really good job. It does a stellar job, honestly, of just going through how they bake so much character into those characters with such limited time to do that with. It's not like you have like a massive story arc and you get to spend like hours with this character learning their backstory. You're literally with them for minutes, and you get a few seconds of their like intro to a fight, and that's enough to really just sort of get you invested in the characters. It's honestly a phenomenal job. But it's if you do want to see more about that and just sort of geek out about the animation and kind of the character design of all these guys, including Little Mac here, definitely go check out that video. I can't remember what it's called. I'll go look it up before I upload this so I can share that out. It's a good one. And put that in the description. What else can I talk about? I played this a ton. The Mike Tyson's Punch-Out version on the NES. Between this and Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, that was a lot of my childhood right there, early childhood. I started playing video games when I was like 2. This was one of the first ones besides Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. And golf was good too. But this ain't about golf. It's about Punch-Out. And I remember like being afraid of Bald Bull. Let's see if I can remember like all the characters that were in there. There was Glass Joe, Von Kaiser, Piston Honda, and that was your minor circuit. And then you had your major circuit, which was Don Flamenco, King Hippo, Great Tiger, and Bald Bull. And then you had your was it minor major something? I can't remember what the top one was. It's gonna annoy me. I don't remember. But there were a bunch more after that. A lot of repeat fights. I can't remember the exact order. I think it was Piston Honda, Soda Popinski, Don Flamenco, Bald Bull, Mr. Sandman, Super Macho Man, and Mike Tyson, or Mr. Dream. And I, like, Bald Bull gave me freaking nightmares when I was a kid. I don't know what it was about that, but I got so good at getting up to Bald Bull, and then I just reset. I don't know why. That character just gave me like goosebumps, and I maybe it's just because I wasn't very good at that fight, but I would, like, I was always like, I never really liked the game over screen because Little Mac looks like super beat up and he looks like sad and like sitting on like a gym bench, and it's just like, just looks like he just like died in a fight, and I hated seeing that screen. I don't know. It's weird. It's just I didn't ever want to see that, and Bald Bull was the reason that I saw it the most when I was a kid. I just imagined like a 3-year-old, 4-year-old trying to beat this game. That's as far as you get. That's always where you end up getting to before you see that game over screen that gives you nightmares. That every time I get to Bald Bull, I just shut off the system. It was just silly. But what that did do for me, and I got to come back to this later, is it taught me a bit about how to, just implicitly, I wasn't trying or anything, but it taught me how to speed run. It was do a small bit, practice a small bit over and over and over and over again until you're super good at doing it. I was able to get to Bald Bull like super duper fast, and then immediately turn it off. But I never got good at the stuff that came after after that fight. But up until that point, it was a puzzle. It was always the same thing. Like, you could do all the like tricks you can to get through it as fast as possible, just to get there and then turn off the system. So it's basically just speedrunning, but every time I was like just throwing it at the end just to hopefully not see that game over screen. So that was a fun little thing. Came back to that when I started doing speedrunning, or wanting to get into speedrunning again. I ended up choosing a different game, but this was one of them. This was one of the choices, but that is such a, I kind of feel like I missed my opportunity, like being able to be involved in, you can still be involved in that community. Speedrunning community is amazing. Like, if you want to do speedrunning, go ahead and do that. Like, even if they're like highly competitive games, then you should do it. But like, this one has been played to death. Like, the main thing that people are doing now is like blindfolded runs, things like that. But that did kind of introduce me to playing a game fast and methodically, getting to a point, and then that's it. Like, knowing that you can, like, even before the internet was like a thing, before you like look up how to do something really fast, understanding some of the tricks that you can use, like even in blindfolded runs, or just getting through, getting a KO instead of having to go like, instead of having to get like a TKO, knock them down 3 times in one round. Things like that were just, like, I just learned them. Like, I found patterns and I remembered them. Like, Don Flamenco notoriously has a stun lock that you can get him in the first round where you're fighting him. And as soon as he gets up, he's going to try and throw a punch. And if you get him in that stun lock again after that first punch, he doesn't get up. He doesn't get up on the second time. It's always a KO. But you have to do it really well. You have to execute it really well. Get your stun lock full combo on him in that, after he throws his first punch. And then when he gets back up, do it again really fast. And then he's good. It was kind of funny learning about, like, with Bald Bull, to always get the bold charge. If you hit the button when you see one of the audience members in the background taking a picture, then you always get him on his bold charge, which is pretty good. Didn't know about that one. Did know about some of the kind of quick kills on things like Von Kaiser and like I said, Don Flamenco and Great Tiger. There was what is it? Like, when I was younger, I had, maybe not when I was like in my like single digit ages, but when I was starting to get into my teenage years, I realized, after I started getting more into music and things like that, I realized that all of the characters in the game, all of their AI is on the same loop as the music. So if you can get to a certain point in a fight, or you're a little lost in the fight and you don't know how to recover, if you can just sort of survive until the background music loops, their AI starts over. So they end up starting as if the fight just started again, which is kind of neat. It was kind of helpful for like when Piston Honda was really hard for me for a bit after I started picking the game up again as I got older. He ended up being a little bit tricky, and knowing that I could depend on when the music went back to the do 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 do, like it starts with that again, that he'd go back to just sort of trotting around and then doing like the really fast eyebrows and jab. But if I was really struggling with all of his uppercuts and jabs, or uppercuts and hooks, I could wait for the music to restart to resituate myself. Something that I believe people who do blindfolded runs can listen to if they do get lost. Ideally, you're not wanting to get lost and having to anchor onto something that takes like a minute to repeat itself, or like 30 seconds to a minute to repeat itself. But it is kind of a last-ditch effort. But finding things like that was always kind of neat. So taught me a bit about speedrunning. Taught me a lot about good game design and good character design. Just amazing at that. So couldn't recommend this game enough, or this series enough. I didn't play Super Punch Out a lot. A couple of my friends really like it. It didn't stand out to me as much as Mike Tyson's Punch Out and the Punch Out for the Wii. But definitely go check it out. It is kind of a masterclass in very limited character interactions, but feeling very invested in the characters that you fight. Even more so that, because it's not like they're allies or anything. These are things that you're trying to defeat, but at the same time you feel somewhat invested in them. So even more kudos to that. It's pretty good. But I have rambled plenty at this point. We'll go ahead and call it at that. So, yeah, have a wonderful weekend. If anybody is doing any kind of Thanksgiving stuff this weekend, then enjoy that and stay safe. And we'll see you next week. See ya.